It may not look like it, but I am in the city of Chicago. I'm not going to tell you where I am, as what I want to show you has become somewhat endangered to the area. This plant, Allium trichocum, is the origin behind Chicago's name. Commonly known as ramps, it once grew in abundance and was called Chicago by local native tribes. Records of Chicago's eponymous plant go back to the very early French explorations of the area, and what made it so notable was the pungent garlic-like odor it produces.
The earliest records of the origin of Chicago's name were written in Henri Joutel's memoirs. During the exploration of the area around 1687, he noted, "We arrived at the place known as Chicago, which, according to what we could learn, took the name from the quantity of garlic growing in the canton in the woods." Chicago, spoken by the Illinois and Miami tribes of the area, was also their word for a skunk, and was used metaphorically to describe the plant and the river where it grew in abundance along the shore. Early explorers would have walked through fields of ramps, which would have stirred up the familiar smell. The name stuck and began appearing on the early maps of America.
Unfortunately, the ramp hasn't afforded the same iconic status as deep dish pizza or the Chicago-style hot dog, which have become synonymous with Chicago. Mistranslation of the early sources is partly to blame, but there was also a conscious effort to change the meaning to something more appealing. Because, as you can imagine, some people weren't receptive of their city being named after a bad-smelling plant.
Early members of the Chicago Historical Society suggested that the literal meaning of the word Chicago was strength or strong characteristics, rather than a direct translation. While more appealing, it was a stretch from the primary sources. There was confusion over which plant it was. Allium cernum, known as the nodding onion, was thought to be the plant in question after mistranslation of the word garlic to onion. This gave way to a common misconception of Chicago being named after a bulbous-smelling onion. However, the leaves of the nodding onion were far from those described in the original text, as being short and broader in length.
The subject has been debated at length, and there is little doubt that Allium trichocum isn't Chicago's eponymous plant. While it used to grow rampantly in the area, it has become increasingly harder to find inside the city due to a rise in popularity and foraging.
Ramps are only in season for a short time, starting at the beginning of April once the ground warms up, and dying off when the trees leaf out. A few months later, the plant will sprout a flower and will eventually seed. From a single seed, it can take anywhere up to 5 to 7 years for a plant to grow to this size. People who forage ramps usually remove the whole plant, including the roots. Sustainable harvesting of the plant calls to leave the root in place, and results in almost half the regrowth time. In the mid to late 90s, the popularity of ramps increased dramatically, as did both illegal and illegal foraging. Locals describe this area as being covered in ramps. Today, only a few patches remain.
Luckily, these wild ramps are protected, as they're part of the forest preserves of Cook County, where it is illegal to forage any plants. If you are interested in trying out the garlic onion flavor of ramps, you may be able to find them at your local farmers market, Whole Foods, or even on the menu at some local restaurants. The tastes may not be up to everyone's liking, but neither is deep dish pizza or the Chicago dog. Either way, ramps still hold a special place in Chicago's history as the smelly wild garlic that gave Chicago its name. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more Chicago content. Don't forget to share this video with your Chicago friends and tell them it was the wild ramp, not the smelly onion, that gave Chicago our name. I believe that the Chicago ramp and its history should be celebrated, and so does my friend Phil from Cape Horn Illustration. He's the one that did that amazing drawing of the ramp. It's available as a poster, and if you follow the link in the description, you can check it out and get one for yourself.